We hear so many stories of gloom and doom these days. I'm going to start putting out a series of success stories of clients that I've worked with over the past 43 years. We use different topics. We may even have, well, we probably will have multiple success stories on the same topic, just different people, different experiences. And I think it's really important, for people that are struggling out there to see stories of success. It's one of the reasons why Chicken Soup for the Soul became so successful. Mark Victor Hansen, a friend of mine, one of the co-authors with Jack Canfield. And, we talk about it all the time. I mean, when it came out in 1990, no one would have known that the book would sell as well as the Bible, for gosh sake, almost. But it did, because it was just filled with positivity. And I'm going to start sharing stories. Individual stories of people I've worked with over the past 43 years. The first one I'm going to share with you is a really big one. This was an individual very successful in business and just had a hell of a deal with alcohol. We're talking blackouts. We're talking about going into hotels with his family and not remembering 2 or 3 days at a time. We're talking about, his wife threatening divorce so many times. The stories go on and on and on. And when I first started working with him, he wasn't committed at all. As a matter of fact, he said, I don't really know why I'm here. My wife made me come. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And then I gave him this exercise, which changed the game, and it really changed his attitude. I asked him to write about as many times he could remember, just in the last 10 years, where that he had a hangover, or he blacked out, or he said something to his kids and didn't remember it the next day, a form of blackout, right? Arguments with wife, with alcohol and everything else. And he came in with this list that was so incredibly long. And some of them were just like, on this day, I went out Sunday, I went tailgating to a football game, and Monday, even though I own my own business, I was supposed to be in at 8 o'clock for an important staff meeting, and I didn't get in until noon. We had to change everything. When he saw in his own writing the challenges that he faced, he knew it was time to change. And it was that one exercise 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it was that one exercise that turned everything around from him. From that time forward, I've run into him a couple times. He's never had a drink. He's never had a craving for a drink. His business has gone up and down and up and down, and he's never had a craving for a drink. His wife is so incredibly proud of him. His kids are so incredibly proud of him. He lives on the West Coast, on sunshine, beaches, Malibu, you name it. He used to go up and down the beach and stop at different places and have his drinks. Now he goes up and down the beach. He stops in the same places and has iced tea or a fish sandwich or something different. And I tell you this story because anyone can recover. It's not your genetics that makes you drink. That's a bunch of bullshit. It's a line we've been given forever. Genes have this tiny role. I'm not even going to get into it. They have a tiny role. I have the gene for alcoholism. My brother has a gene for alcoholism. My aunt had the gene for alcoholism because she died of it. And when you come that close to how deleterious alcohol is in our life, it should wake you up. It didn't. When my aunt died a horrendous death of alcoholism, it didn't do a thing to me. It didn't shake me up at all. I want you to look seriously in the mirror. And that's what I had to do. And that's what this gentleman had to do. And the amount of alcohol we consume, we can hide. We can say we had a couple drinks when there was 2 or 3 shots in every drink. We can say we had a couple glasses of wine when there's 2 bottles gone. We can lie to ourselves. We can lie to others. But the freedom that comes with full recovery is amazing. When I saw this guy a couple years ago, again, 20 years ago, I helped him get sober. A couple years ago, I happened to run into him. He was traveling to the west coast of Florida from the west coast of the United States, and he sent me this text saying, I just got to see you for 5 minutes. He gave me the biggest bear hug, and he told me, you're not going to believe how you radically changed my life. He said, David, permanent recovery is the only way to go. And I owe so much of my success and my happiness and my family life to you. I'm going back to California tomorrow, but I had to stop by. And this is why I do this work, It's like we have a really large success rate with helping people get clean and sober from any addiction, alcohol, food. I'll give you more stories down the road. But if you need help, go to talkdavid.com. We've got free books on addiction recovery. You can work with me one-on-one. If money is tight, we've got a program with inflation to decrease the price by 50%, by the way. Go to talkdavid.com. Get the 4 books for free on motivation. Work with me one. Let's get rid of this alcohol. You know, getting rid of alcohol for me was one of the most incredible things I ever did. And the proof that you can permanently recover lies in this one example. 4 years ago, my mom and dad got very sick, extremely sick. Well, no, it was even longer than that now. It's probably 5 or 6 years ago. My mom's been dead for 3 years, my dad 1.5 years. Not one time during their grieving, during their suffering, during operations and all of this stuff did I ever think about having a drink. That tells you our program works. Join me at talkdavid.com. Let's turn lives around. Until then, have a beautiful day.